So I pressed it and now I'm waiting for it to update on YouTube. So it's updated. You're actually live and I'm going to mute myself now. So I pressed it and now I'm waiting for it to update on YouTube. So it's updated. You're actually live and I'm going to mute myself now.
Okay.
So I pressed it and now I'm waiting for it to update on YouTube. So it's updated. You're actually live and I'm going to mute myself now.
Okay.
So I pressed it and now I'm waiting for it to update on YouTube. So it's updated. You're actually live and I'm going to mute myself now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. I'm so excited to be here with you all today to give you all some college sense. Please be sure that if you have any questions that you would like to ask, that you ask them after the presentation has concluded. So we can all have an interactive conversation, especially if you have any types of different scenarios, questions, things that you've experienced, how to deal with them during this time. Please be sure to hold your questions until the end. Okay. I guess I'll wait about a minute before we get started, just to get some more people tuned in. So this way they don't miss all of this amazing information. All right, everyone. We are about to get started for today's presentation. Again, please make sure you save your questions to the end, write your questions down so we can answer them at the end of the session. All right. So, my name is Jessica Brown. I am the founder of College Girl. I am the president of the College Girl Foundation, and I am the author of How to Pay for College When You Are Broke. I'm so excited to be here with you all this evening to give you guys some college sense. So, let's get started. So, there are so many myths around college. So many people say college is costly. But however, it should be viewed as an investment. Also, every year, over $100 million in scholarship money goes unclaimed. So college is not necessarily a place that you cannot afford. It is something that if this is what you want to do, you're going to have to work very, very hard to find the resources out there for you to make sure that you can matriculate and pay for college. Of course, you have your other critics. It's impossible. College is not impossible to attend. You must put in the work. And of course, there's the line of there's no point of college. College allows you access to careers, opportunities, people, places, and different types of experiences that you can only experience at college. So, college is still very important. It is still very relevant as the education is the key to life. And going to college is going to propel you to begin to create economic stability and generational wealth, as college is the ticket into the middle class. Currently, student loan debt is more than credit card debt in America right now at $1.6 trillion dollars. And this number is continuously growing. Therefore, it is critical that you are paying attention, you are taking notes, and understand how you can make the best informed decisions on securing your college education. A fact is, Black women graduate with the most student loan debt. It is hindering us from buying homes, cars, um, and securing all of life's luxuries because of the financial decisions that we make in college. So it is vital that you begin to ensure that you understand different ways to pay for college. Another fact: the Obamas did not pay off their student loan debt until he was elected into Senate. Student loan debt is hitting everybody hard, of all economic classes and of all races, but of course, for the majority, the Black race. So for us, student loan debt is really hindering us from securing all of life's luxuries. So we've gone over the myths, we've gone over all these different facts. Now let's get to it. What is financial aid? Financial aid is known as the financial assistance you have to help pay for your educational expenses. Of course, many ask, where does it come from? It comes from your federal, state, local governments, institutions, and external resources. There's various types, additionally, of financial aid. You have grants, you have scholarships, you have work study. All of these types of financial aid is known as gift aid, right? Because it's money that you don't have to pay back. And for me, I love gifts and I don't want to pay anybody back. So you want to make sure that you are seeking grants, scholarships, and personally following up with the different institutions to see if they offer the federal work study program. However, we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, there are also loans, the loans that we've been talking about for the past few minutes in the beginning. Of course, student loans is money that you have to pay back, have to pay back. And that's if you do or if you don't graduate. So you want to make sure that you understand the various types of financial aid before applying and securing your college education. Additionally, financial aid, building a relationship with the financial aid office is very important. I cannot stress this enough, as many students only come to financial aid when they are expecting their refund or are wondering why they have been dropped from their classes. And you want to make sure you're continuously following up with this department as they have access to various types of scholarships, grants that you may be eligible for, and building that relationship with them so that when these opportunities come across the representatives of the financial aid office's desk, they will consider you for these funds because they know your financial need, they know how hard you work, and you continuously are trying to seek for more opportunities. So it is strongly encouraged that you build a strong relationship with financial aid. Now, granted, I know HBCUs, it's kind of hard and challenging, right, to build that strong relationship with financial aid because of the customer service experience. However, you still want to be mindful, not catch an attitude, but still work as hard as you can to understand financial aid and the choices that you're making with the representatives of those schools. And especially for all of the students on the line that have not gone to college yet, now is a great time, even though you are not on campus, to begin building that relationship by calling, emailing, and following up in regards to opportunities, as that may be a decision maker in the way you make your decision on the college that you choose, because this office can truly impact the amount of aid that you receive. So, how do you get started for financial aid? Well, the first step in securing your financial aid is to create a federal student aid ID. This federal student aid ID will be with you through the duration of your educational endeavors, even up to if you pursue graduate studies. So it's so important that you use a good email address and a password that you will always remember to ensure that you have your login information, as this login information is going to be used for you to see your loan status on different websites, complete your FAFSA, which is the free application for student aid, and of course, other documents that are related to financial aid and the government giving you funds. So you have to create an FSA ID. Additionally, if you are a dependent student, that means that you are under the age of 24, you are not married, you have not received your first bachelor's degree, you are not a ward of the court, then you will have to have your parent also create an FSA ID, as you cannot complete the FAFSA without them, because you are considered to the government as a dependent, which means someone who depends on someone else. Therefore, you and your parents are going to have to create an FSA ID at fsaid.ed.gov. From there, you can then apply for the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, and it awards billions of dollars annually to students to secure their college education. You and your parent, if you are a dependent student, will have to complete the FAFSA. You can complete the FAFSA at fafsa.ed.gov. Now, in order to complete the application, you have to make sure that you have your tax information handy. For parents, making sure that they are able to electronically attach their tax information, as this makes the FAFSA so much easier and way less time, as you don't have to go line by line looking at your tax information to manually input it. This is the most effective and efficient way. It is very safeguarded. This tool is called the IRS data retrieval tool, that will import your taxes. You'll make sure that when you import them, the IRS, of course, will ask different verification questions and all of that to ensure that it is you and your identity, and that they have the permission to link your financial information to the FAFSA. So you want to make sure you do that, students. If you are independent, and you are not any of those questions that I've listed before, then you would, of course, input your own tax information and only use your own FSA ID. However, just because you file taxes, that does not mean you are dependent. So please make sure that if you are living in a house with your parents and they're still claiming on your taxes, even though you work at the ice cream shop and you can file your own taxes, you're still considered a dependent student. Now, once all the tax information is gathered and added to the FAFSA form, it will import everything and you will be able to get to the end. And the best thing is about getting to the end is that your FAFSA will be completed. You have added all the schools that you wanted to go to in the beginning, as well as your personal information. And the FAFSA will be sent out, and within 5 business days, institutions should begin to receive this FAFSA. Now, with that being said, that doesn't necessarily mean within 5 business days that the institution is going to have an award package for you. Institutions, that could take weeks or months. However, the earlier that you complete your FAFSA, the earlier that you will hopefully find out what kind of awards you are eligible for at your institution. So you want to make sure that you are getting this done as soon as possible. Additionally, please note the FAFSA must be filled out annually. This is not a form that you just do one time. It has to be filled out annually. So you want to make sure that you are staying on top of that. Additionally, the FAFSA opens October 1st of every year. So please make sure that you get it in as soon as the application is available. Funding. So we explained a little bit earlier of what was gift aid and of course what was borrowed aid, but let's dive a little bit deeper into the different types of financial aid. Pell Grant. A Pell Grant is provided to students with a financial need who have not earned a bachelor's or their first bachelor's degree. Now, this Pell Grant is going to be determined by your results from the FAFSA. So once you complete your FAFSA, you get a confirmation email. The confirmation email includes, thank you for submitting, blah, blah, blah. And also it would have expected family contribution, which is also known as EFC. If the numbers on the FAFSA confirmation email are zero, then that means that you are completely Pell eligible at 100%, as the government has determined you have a critical financial need. So people can receive Pell Grants from 0 to 5,000 EFC. But please note, the higher your EFC is, the lower the Pell amount is. So please keep that in mind. Additionally, when you complete the FAFSA, you are offered loans from the U.S. Department of Education. These federal subsidized and unsubsidized loans are granted to you. As a freshman dependent student, it's only about you have about $5,500 in student loans. So you want to make sure that you thoroughly understand $5,500 is not going to pay for an education at some of these premier institutions. So you have to make sure that you're continuously seeking other resources of aid to ensure that you can matriculate. Now, of course, loans, even though people do not want to borrow money, sometimes it is a necessity in order to do what you have to do. But these loans are provided to students. And of course, if you're a dependent student, your parent would be offered to do a parent plus loan application where they can also apply for loans to help fund your education. These federal subsidized, unsubsidized parent plus loans are granted through the federal government to offset your educational expenses. So please note that your parents can also take out loans on your behalf, but they will also be paying that money back. Additionally, you have scholarships. Scholarships is a grant or provided based off of your academic achievement, financial need, talent, or skills. Of course, we love scholarships because scholarships is money that we do not have to pay back. So you want to make sure that you're continuously searching for scholarships. Lastly, work study. Federal work study provides part-time jobs for students with a strong financial need, which allows them to earn money and that helps them pay for their educational expenses and gain professional experience. Work study is a pretty cool program. You can work on campus being a secretary or working in the cafeteria, and which allows you to still be on campus. You're able to study at work and do your job that make a little bit of money to do what you need to do to take care of yourself. However, not all institutions offer work studies. So it is important that if this is an opportunity that you would like to pursue, that you follow up directly with the institution's financial aid office to see if this is a program that they offer. Now, scholarships come in various forms. You can receive employee tuition benefits. So, for instance, if you are working, if you are working, you will be able to get internships. You will be able to use employee tuition benefits. If your parents are working, some major corporations may give money to to their children to pursue their education. So please have your parents follow up with their human resources department to see if they offer employee tuition benefits for dependent students or yourself. Internships come with scholarships. I know when I was in college, I applied for a Fox News scholarship, and this scholarship internship came with $5,000. I got 2,500 just for doing the scholarship, and then the last 2,500 when I once I completed the fall internship program. And all of these funds were sent directly to my student account and paid off the bill for the fall semester. So I strongly encourage that you find internships, and internships are great. You get that hands-on professional experience so you can understand what career path you really want to go into after college. Also, you can use search engines and mobile apps to find scholarships. And of course, like we shared earlier, following up with the financial aid office. And also local organizations. You have many local organizations around the country that provide scholarships to students, especially you have churches, you have like for instance, Delta Sigma Theta, different types of sororities, fraternities all across the nation have scholarship programs. So I would strongly suggest that you do a local search, following up with your guidance counselor to see what local organizations and programs that they may know of that you will be able to apply to. And more information about the student loans. So, student loans is designed to help you pay for your cost of attendance, also known as COA. However, they are borrowed funds that must be paid back if you do or if you do not graduate. The interest rates on federal student loans are 2.75% for subsidized and unsubsidized loans. For Parent Plus loans, 5.3%, and for graduate unsubsidized loans, 4.3%. However, if you are applying for a private loan is a loan that is not given from the government. It is outside of the FAFSA. So that would mean you would have to go to a bank, you would have to go to an educational private lender to apply for this, which means that they're going to run your credit to see if you are eligible for a private loan. These interest rates vary. That's why it is so important that if you do have to borrow student loans, that you borrow federal loans first, as the interest rates are fixed. Additionally, there are multiple repayment plan options that you are able to use, and that are very, very flexible, whereas a private loan may not be so flexible. So you want to make sure that if you are going to borrow student loans, you borrow them first from the federal government before searching for private entities. And if you are borrowing student loans, you want to continuously know what you owe. You don't just want to keep borrowing, 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 and you don't know what your limit is. And you don't know how much money that you have borrowed. So you want to make sure if you are borrowing that you continuously search and stay on top of what you owe. Your loan total with interest. You want to check the National Student Loan Database System, also known as NSLDS. You want to make sure you're logging into that. You want to make sure that early on you've identified your lender, even if you're an undergrad. That's okay. You want to make sure that you are staying on top of what the amount is. So hopefully that encourages you to continuously find free resources, those that gift aid and scholarships, to make sure that you can matriculate without so much debt. And of course, building a relationship with your loan servicer. If you know that you get paid on the 5th and your student loan is due on the 1st, that means it's always going to be late. So you want to make sure that you're following up with your loan servicer to ensure that you are staying on top of your payments and that you are on time and that the payment options are financially feasible for you. There are so many different financial impacts on borrowing student loans. Student loans can impact your credit, and your credit is everything when you graduate, because if you want to get an apartment, if you want to get a car, if you, in any of those things, you have to have good credit. And to the point where it may even impact your career. Some jobs you can't get because your credit is bad or because you have so much student loan debt. There was a story that came out a couple years ago of a nurse who was working in a hospital in Tennessee, and her nursing license got revoked because she defaulted on her student loans. That means that she went over 120 days with 270 days with no payment to her student loans, and therefore she was defaulted on them. As a result, the state revoked her license to practice. Now, how can she repay her student loans if she cannot work? So it is so important that you don't fall behind on any loan payments and that you're staying on top of the student loans that you borrow. Additionally, student loans can impact your personal goals. You might want to buy that house by 30, do take certain trips, make certain investments by a certain age. But because you are hindered in student loan debt, you are unable to achieve those personal goals. It also, of course, impacts your savings. There was a study that came out that millennials, of course, we're not thinking about retirement. We're not thinking about saving because we're barely making ends meet because we're paying back so much a month in student loan debt. So, how can we save? How can we invest? And how can we even think about putting extra money from our check into a 401k when we are barely surviving? So it's so important that you understand that student loans financially impact your savings, your investment, and buying that dream home that you may want to have. So we want to talk about ways that we can prevent um, making bad financial decisions. Don't procrastinate. Procrastination will set you back. You will miss deadlines for into institutions. You will miss deadlines for scholarships, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to procrastinate because you want to stay on top of what you have to do. You want to be eligible for those opportunities. Like I said, financial aid is first come, first serve. So knowing that, don't procrastinate. If you know that the FAFSA comes out on October 1st, fill it out, especially once you've already done it 1 year before. All your information is stored in there. The only thing that you would have to update is just linking your newest tax information to that form. That's it. So also, with the not procrastinating, making sure that if your guidance counselors have to write recommendations and things of that nature, don't give them those documents at the last minute. You are not the only student that they are possibly working with. So you don't want to procrastinate. You want to make sure you're staying on top of everything to ensure that you can get all the aid and that you're eligible for, and of course secure that education at that dream school that you want to go to. Additionally, you want to consult with family and guidance counselors. Going to college takes a village. You cannot do this by yourself. Going to college, you definitely need the support of others, especially your parents or your guardians. So you want to make sure that you're having daily conversations with them. What does college look like? We know these are the majors that you're interested in. However, these are the schools that you want to go to. Do that research for your parents. Find out how much these different institutions cost so that you can make the best informed decisions on securing the education that's going to be financially feasible for your matriculation. Many students, they get accepted into a school and they may get a $30,000 scholarship 1 year. Then next year, that $30,000 is not available. And then everyone is frantic. And now you have no choice but to borrow federal loans of your parents, or you have to apply for private loans in order to stay at that institution because you didn't thoroughly read your terms and conditions freshman year. So please make sure when you're making the final decisions, you're making the final decisions with your family, you're making sure that you have the paperwork, you understand the terms and conditions of all of these opportunities and prospective institutions. Additionally, following up with your guidance counselor throughout the process to ensure that they have done their part in uploading all your information, as sometimes they can fall behind. So you want to make sure that you are staying on top of all parties that's going to help you get to college. You want to research scholarships and internships. Please remember, annually over $100 million in scholarship money goes unclaimed. So stop scrolling and start doing. Start finding more of these opportunities and these resources for you to secure your education. There is no reason at all of this money is continuously left annually, and it's free money. Of course, we have written so many essays. We feel like we got rejected the last few applications. So why do another scholarship? You have to keep going. You never know when it is going to be your opportunity to get that money. So don't stop. Keep looking for stuff. And there's no excuse that you do not have any scholarship money. The same research that you would do to find the new PS5, the best bundles of hair, the best sneakers is the same research that you are should be doing to find scholarship money. They're in the same Google search engines as you are searching for things that are not pertaining to your education. So if the education is really what you truly want out of life, you need to do whatever it takes to secure these scholarship opportunities. Additionally, researching internships. Internships are going to make sure that you have that career experience, college credit, more importantly, and of course, scholarship money that will help you succeed. So please make sure you're searching for internships. Also, focusing on your grade point average. Focusing on your grade point average is vital. And there's no excuse as to why you have not focused on your grade point average, especially now with the pandemic. Nothing's open. Everybody's virtual learning at home, which I know can be pretty challenging and sometimes very discouraging. But that should motivate you even more to make sure that you are focusing on your grades. Your grades can heavily impact the type of institutional aid and different types of academic scholarships that you can receive. So you want to make sure that you are making good grades and that you finish the year strong. 2020 is not over just yet. You have these last couple grades to get in. So please make sure that you are focusing on your grade point average right now to make sure that whenever these opportunities become available, that you are going to be the first person in line eligible for them because you focused on all the right things. And also use this time to focus on your future endeavors, build those goals, those dreams, and see how they align with your college education and how you can make sure that you are learning everything you need from your education to apply to your future endeavors. Lastly, you want to make sure that you save money. Saving money is important. I know sometimes it's a little bit challenging because for all of us, saving money can be challenging, but you want to make sure that you're saving money. When you go to college, you want to have a little bit of money in the bank to take care of everything that you need to, especially if you are flying. If you're from California, but you go to school in DC and you have to get home for the holidays, you want to make sure you have some money saved up because you never know when you are going to need these funds while you are in college. So please make sure that you are saving as much as you can. For more information, you can purchase How to Pay for College When You Are Broke on Amazon. Additionally, I do sell autographed copies for $20. You can follow me on Instagram at College Girl JB, and the girl is GURL. On Instagram and DM me so you can get your personal copy, of course, of How to Pay for College When You're Broke. And of course, moreover, wanting to close out by saying that no matter what, college is possible even when you're broke. For more information, you can go to collegegirl.com. We have lots of resources on there, the 101 on paying for college, so you can understand how to financially plan with you and your family. So for now, and also, you can book a personal consultation. Of course, there is a fee to schedule a 45-minute personal consultation with me. If you choose to do so, you can email info@collegegirlgurl.com. So now I'm going to take some questions. Okay. I see one question. D.D. Walker. Hey, D.D. Walker. I'm in college. How do you locate scholarships while in school and going to graduate school? I don't know which scholarships are real. I would strongly suggest scholarships. Of course, I know sometimes you're wondering if this is real, if this is fake. You locate scholarships, of course, number one, by going to the financial aid office. You want to make sure that you're going to the financial aid office and you're locating some of those scholarships. Directly speaking with financial aid representatives, as of course, they know what scholarships are available, what scholarships have just come through. Additionally, I would strongly suggest that you download the app called Scholly. 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 It was founded by Christopher Gray. He's known as the $1 Million Scholar. And that app is not going to give you junk. It is going to filter all the scholarships that are current, that are live, and that are real. So you want to make sure that you download Scholly, Scholly. Please note there is a fee for Scholly. However, this is an app that you want to make sure that you have. It is a great tracker. It's going to make sure that you have all of the scholarships that fit your academic profile. They ask you so many questions to ensure that they are filtering all the scholarships that pertain to you. So you want to make sure that you download a Scholly. How could I possibly get a sports scholarship after enrolling in college and getting on the team? You can get a sports scholarship by walking on the team. If you walk on, maybe your first year, you may not get any funds, but the second year, maybe the coach will be able to provide you tuition scholarship or just pay for meals or your actual room and board, or whatever small fees that you may have. So that is also a possibility. You would definitely want to make sure that you contact the coach in that department, the athletic department, to get more information on their process. Anaya Mathis. Hey, Anaya. I am currently a senior in high school. I want to apply for certain scholarships, but I don't meet the testing criteria for some. My GPA is good. My GPA on my transcript is a 3.7 and current is a 4.2. Um, I would, no matter what, you need to go to the institution's website. Every institution should have some form of incoming freshman scholarships. If they're not listed on the website, that is when, of course, you start building that relationship with financial aid and contacting the financial aid department by phone or by email and inquiring about what you may be eligible for. Additionally, doing that Google search, doing that search on the app called Scholly. Um, because when I went to college, my test scores were real bad. I took the SAT 3 times and I took the ACT 1 time, and they just went from worse to I don't know how worse can get worse. Um, but I was just not a test taker. However, I was so actively involved in the community and in different programs that these different local organizations gave funds. I belonged to a church. My church gave me money. I did local scholarships. Like I think the national, like a realtors association had a scholarship for us to do. As long as you lived in this county, you could do it. Different types of entrepreneurs and businesses locally had scholarships that they were also giving giving away. So that was extremely helpful for me in going to college. So I wouldn't necessarily don't hinder yourself just because of your test scores, as your test scores don't define you and your academic ability. I would continue to search for scholarships using those multiple channels that I just listed. And many schools do have scholarships for your GPA, but many of them are in conjunction with your SAT or ACT score as well. Also, I started my FAFSA on October 1st and completed it a few days after that. What do I do now? So, just because you completed your FAFSA on time, which is what you should do, that does not mean that the university has begun to award packages to students. So that is going to be the waiting process. Especially if you just got accepted into schools, that doesn't mean that the financial aid package comes at the same time. You'll probably get your acceptance first and then the financial aid letter weeks later or maybe a month later. However, you want to make sure in the interim that you're applying for scholarships, as you don't want to rely on the institution and the funds that they may give you, as they may not be enough. So you want to make sure that you are using this time to continuously find those external resources and opportunities that's going to help you secure your college education. Man Low, good evening. May you explain what FAFSA can do? The free application for federal student aid is the first step in seeking your college education. You want to make sure that you do the FAFSA. If you do not do the FAFSA, you will not get any money from any institution, state, or federal government at all. So if you don't do, and this also goes for students whose parents think that they make too much money, that they shouldn't do the FAFSA. If you don't do the FAFSA for your child may have been eligible for academic scholarship that was not based off of a financial need. As a result, the financial aid department cannot award any money because the FAFSA is a requirement that must be on file before any funds of any kind, institutionally or outside the institution, that they can provide. So you want to make sure that you do the FAFSA. You have to make sure that you do that, even if you do not think that you're financially eligible, and even if you choose to pay out of pocket, because your child could have received a scholarship from the institution. Okay, Kendra Prevost. When can a child claim independent and not use parents' income? Okay, there are certain questions on the FAFSA that determine dependency. If your child is under the age of 24, if they do not have any children of their own, if they are not married, if they have not received their first bachelor's degree, if they are not a ward of the court, and you're still claiming them on your taxes, even if they have a job, they are not an independent student. They are dependent. If you say yes to any of those questions on the FAFSA, then they would be considered independent. But just because they have a job at an ice cream parlor and they file their own taxes at 18, they're still living under your roof, and therefore they are not considered independent by the federal government. So please note that your child will be dependent if you do not answer yes to any of those questions that the FAFSA asks. Kashana Temple. Is it possible to receive more scholarship money than needed for the college that you attend? It is possible because you may have so many external resources that came in on top of whatever the institution awarded. If that is the case, sometimes what happens is the institution lowers the amount that they give you so that you will not exceed the cost of attendance, as they don't, you shouldn't be getting a refund from their money. So you definitely want to be mindful of that. If there's a lot of incoming scholarships that are going directly to the school, it's a difference if they are going directly to you and the check is made out to you. But if they're going to the school and there's an overflow and the school has also provided lots of funds, then the school will downsize their package. If you end up, for example, let's say my full tuition, room and board is 100,000, but I end up winning 200,000 from all the scholarships I applied for. Well, it depends again what these where these scholarships came from. If $50,000 of scholarships came from the institution, then $50,000 would be lowered from the institution to accommodate all the external ones that came through, as the school doesn't want to give you a refund off of money from that scholarship. Refunds typically only come from student loans. You would have got a refund from the scholarship that you received externally if there was an overflow. So you want to keep that in mind, that what schools end up doing is they end up reducing the aid that they give you if you have all this other money coming in. So please make sure you read the fine print. Global Naya, can scholarships pay for college? Yes, they can. That's why you want to make sure that you're continuously applying to scholarships, because they can indeed pay for college. Stacy Williams, do you have to accept the school's offer first in order to know what financial aid you get? No, you automatically, once you get your award, your admissions letter, which most likely comes first, in the weeks or months later, you will receive a financial aid package from financial aid. Once you receive that financial aid package, you may have a deadline from the institution to accept that package. So you want to make sure that you're reading everything that is coming through to understand if there is a deadline, because you don't want to miss that and procrastinate. May 1st of every year is typically the day that most freshmen that are going to school accept their scholarships, and the deadline for all schools that take those applications and acceptances for those scholarships. So if you said yes on May 2nd that you want to accept, then you'll no longer be eligible for that 20, 30, or $40,000 that the school gave you. So you want to make sure that you are reading the terms and conditions of the scholarships before you accept your offer, as they are subject to change. Like I previously stated, you may have gotten 30,000 your freshman year, and then next year you don't get anything from an institution. So now you're making bad decisions in terms of looking for student loans and looking for private banks to help you fund your education, because now you're missing that $30,000. So you want to keep that in mind when accepting a school's offer and asking the financial aid office, hey, is this scholarship renewable? That's the word, renewable. You want to make sure that you're asking that. Okay. Do you know if Southern University and A&M have a good financial system? No, I don't. That's nice. No, I'm sorry, I do not. Tumani Wahab. Are there scholarships that can cover room and board? Yes, there are lots of scholarships out there. You have to do the research. There are not any particular scholarships that it'll cover this part of the bill, that part of the bill. Once you do a scholarship, the money is automatically applied to the student account if that's where it's going, if they're sending it to the school, or if they are sending it to you and you apply it into where you see fit. Peyton Jasmine. Completed FAFSA, but I don't qualify. How can I pay for college without getting loans? I search for scholarships for I search for scholarships and complete them, but is there a reputable site I can seek scholarships? Yes, there is a reputable site that you can seek scholarships. Scholly, SCHOLLY, is founded by Christopher Gray. He is known as the $1,000,000 Scholar. And this scholarship app is great. It filters scholarship based off of all the questions that you answer that pertain to you. They are current, they are not spam, and it tracks your scholarship, the awards that you receive. Additionally, even Scholarly gives students scholarships. So you want to make sure that you download that app. There is a monthly fee to use that app, but I would strongly suggest, if you want to get money for college, that you download this app and begin your scholarship search today. Is there a time frame? Tammy Nelson, is there a time frame to apply for scholarships? You should be applying for scholarships all day, every day. If you want to make college possible and minimize your potential debt, you should be doing a scholarship search. And of course, the deadline is set to whatever the scholar, whoever's giving the scholarship sets it to. I know there are some out there that now that have expiration dates, but are those others that won't come available until specific dates in spring? Yes, you want to make sure that you create some type of spreadsheet or list and keep following up on those scholarships to see when they open up and when they close. Kasana Temple. You should see if colleges you should see if your college offers a presidential scholarships because it usually cover those things. Yes, some presidential scholarships do cover room and board, but again, that comes from institutions making sure, and that means that you are the cream of the crop. That means that your GPA is outstanding, and that means that you are one of the highest students for the SAT and ACT. And that also means that if they are going to cover room and board, that you have to keep a certain GPA every year in order for that money to be renewable. But there is no particular room and board scholarship. Many of those come as a package from the institution. Elijah Bryant, can you get a good amount of scholarships with a 3.0 GPA? Yes. Again, scholarships, many of them are not based off of academics. They could be based on your talent, skills, or point of view. So I would strongly suggest that you continuously do a scholarship search, and not only fill out the ones that are academic. However, many of them are minimum of a 2.5. So if you have a 3.0 GPA, you're still in the running. Anaya Mathis, what was the app that you mentioned again? Scholly, Schollly. Scholly. Valerie Lloyd, what was the email for the scholarship app again? It's the app is My Scholly, Schollly. Katina Hayward, what does your book cover? My book covers more detailed information to help you avoid costly mistakes and scams. I provide realistic strategies for you to understand how to make the best informed decisions on securing your college education, to minimize potential debt, as well as to achieve financial freedom post graduation. This book is if I'm right there with you on your financial aid journey. So you want to make sure that you get this book off Amazon, or DM me at College Girl GURLJB, to purchase your autograph copy for $20. Um, Books go out every day, so I would strongly suggest if you want this for the weekend that you get it in today. I simplify the financial aid process, go more in depth about different types of scholarships, understanding if you have military benefits, understanding how to what to do post college, understanding the really impacts of student loans, understanding building that relationship with financial aid. Um, and also for parents to understand that it's never too early to start saving for college. So you want to make sure that, even though your child is in middle school, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's too early to start saving or talking about college with your child. The earlier the better, because once you are at that stage, the time is going to go by very fast. You don't want to miss those deadlines. You want to make sure you have the money to go to whatever school that you really want to go to. So this book is it. It's going to give you all the communication skills and tips, questions to ask financial aid, to understand how to pay and save for college. Peyton Jasmine, please give the scholarship information again. I'm going to write it in the chat. Do we have any more questions? Are there as many scholarships and financial resources for students looking to go beyond 4 years of college? You have to do the FAFSA for all levels of school, graduate school and undergrad, law school, PhD, any of those, um, medical school, you have to make sure that you do the FAFSA if you're going to an institution here in the States. And there are scholarships and financial resources for every level. You just have to make sure that you are searching for those opportunities. The more research you put in, the more results that you would get back. That's nice. I'm currently on Scholly. What is the best amount to be seeking? The best amount that you should be seeking is how much is your gap? How much is your college education? Have you done that research of how much the institution you attend or that you want to attend cost? Any more questions? This is such a great discussion, you guys. Any more questions? We only have a few minutes left. I can't believe an hour has gone by so fast. Well, if there's no questions, I'll just go give you guys some brief tips. Please make sure if you're borrowing student loans, you borrow what you need and not what you want. You want to minimize your debt as much as you can. You don't want to over borrow student loans and then you are trying to figure out how to pay them back after graduation. It is definitely a tough, challenging situation to be in, owing lots of money in student loans. So you want to make sure that you're making the best informed decisions on securing your college education and finding scholarships. Oh, we have a question. Aviana Clark, if you do dual enrollment, does that help with scholarships? Um, that all depends on the institution that you're going to. They may give you more scholarship funds, or they may or with dual enrollment on the back end, the best thing is that you may not have to pay for your last semester of school. So dual enrollment always helps because it lets you come in with some college credits. And on the back end is when you may kind of see a return on that dual enrollment, maybe not on the front end, but you never know, especially if you're doing dual enrollment. You're probably extremely brilliant. So those grades and credits may help you and propel you for the institution to want to give you more financial aid. Are there any free scholarship apps? No, not that I know of. Realistically, Kashana Temple, realistically, loans in general should be the last option because you have to pay them back with interest in the end as opposed to scholarship and grants. Yes, yes, Kashana, you got today's college sense. Today's college sense, loans in general should be the last option, because that's money that you have to pay back. Whereas scholarships and grants is gift aid, and that is money that you do not have to pay back. So, yes, loans should be your last option. That's nice. Scholarships, the app is amazing as long as you do. It's not about the app. The app is filtering all the scholarships that are available from all these different entities. It is up to you to secure the scholarship by writing that essay or doing a video or doing whatever is required, submitting whatever information to whoever's providing the scholarship for you. So I guess the best piece of advice is you have to help yourself and put your best foot forward to secure that aid. Thank you all for joining this evening. I truly enjoyed being here. Please, for more information and to follow, thank you all for joining this evening. My Instagram is at College Girl JB, at College Girl Foundation. If you would like to follow my nonprofit foundation, if you would like to purchase an autographed copy, you can do it on Amazon, or you can email me at info@collegegirl.com. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. I truly enjoyed being here with you all this evening. I wish you the best on your educational journey. Please be sure to stay in touch with me at College Girl JB on Instagram or at College Girl Foundation websites, collegegirl.com and collegegirlfoundation.org. And of course, the girl is spelled with a U. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. And I look forward to working with you all soon. Have a great week. Happy holidays. Take care. And I wish you all the best.